Hi, and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report, joined today by Hofstra head lacrosse coach Seth Tierney. Coach, welcome.
Len, thanks for having me.
Let's get right into it, Coach. Since we last talked on the show, 2 wins, starting with Saturday against Providence, a big 15-4 win. Just let's talk about that offensive explosion.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought we had some opportunities early in the game, and they just didn't drop. But it wasn't from a lack of good ball movement and doing what we wanted to do. The goalie played well and made a couple of saves, and slowly we started to chip away at it. I think it was at 6-2 at half, and then in the third quarter we had, some of those shots went. Sam Linares opened it up a little bit. Mike Malave, a couple of those guys. So we got to have experience a pretty good third quarter, which we haven't been used to. And overall, still made some mistakes. I don't think any coach is going to walk away from a performance going, we played perfect. But I thought it was a pretty tight win. Coming off of the last one.
And you said you weren't happy, some mistakes. Game was played in a pretty steady rainstorm. Does that have something to do, you think, with the lack of maybe crisp execution?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that it was more when you coach an outdoor sport that starts in a winter like we have. The weather it's not an excuse. It's just both teams have to play in it, so you just kind of get through it. And I thought that Chris Clark did a wonderful job at the X to tilt the time of possession our way. We played a lot more offense and a lot less defense. So it was raining on both sides of the field, and we just handled it.
All right, moving on to last night, local rival, St. John's, 10-7 win, but they made you work for it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they always we haven't gotten them in 2 years. Jason Miller does a great job with St. John's. They've got some talented kids. They've got guys that just play hard, and again, we thought we had a couple of good looks at the goal. Goalie made a couple of big saves early, one on Malave. Sam, was trying to break into a couple. Their defenseman, 34, did a great job on Sam, but we stayed the course. Didn't have peaks and valleys, just kind of kept chipping away at it. Even at halftime, we made an adjustment in the clear to see how they were riding, but it was just an effort win. And again, in the fourth quarter, when we were down 1 going into the fourth quarter, you could see if our guys would go back and go, uh-oh. There was no uh-oh. They were like, all right, first 5 minutes, let's just get the next one, and then tied it up, and then, we got into a little bit of a roll. Man Up got a big goal to get that 2-goal cushion, and then the 2 goals turned into a 3-goal win.
Okay. Talked a lot about the offense. Let's touch on the play of Chris Selva these last 2 games. 4 goals against Providence, 7 goals last night. What have you seen from Chris?
Chris has been steady Eddie. He has. I think he always wants 1 or 2 back, but he did a great job. He's a senior, a captain, a leader, probably the biggest competitor I've ever coached. I think I've mentioned it on a film or 2 earlier. But he's just competing his butt off, and certainly we need it. I thought the defense was a lot more in sync this week. First Providence, and then again last night. The talk of Michael Diener, the poise of Finn Sullivan, just everyone, Romano, Reicheter, Riley, Tanner Griffin, all doing their jobs. And when many hands make light work, and when all those guys are doing just their thing, then it all kind of looks good together.
Let's turn our attention now to this weekend, start of Colonial Athletic Association play, jumping right into the conference season with UMass on Saturday at noon at Stewart Stadium. Obviously a long history of rivalry between the Pride and the Minutemen. So, what kind of challenge does UMass present this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's another game where the ball kind of is irrelevant for the first couple of minutes of the game. There's going to be guys that are going to want to flex their muscles, knock people down, try to get that physical edge over the top of it. Then a lacrosse game is going to settle in, and again, we just need to get better today, tomorrow, Friday, and worry about us. They have a couple of great players. 23 he's the quarterback of their offense. They got a couple of young guys that are very talented offensively. They got a very good goalie, and defensively, they started out the year much like us, and now they're tightening things up. And so defensively, they've done a great job. They got a huge win over Penn State this past weekend. So they're starting to put some things together. And so, I mean, again, it's going to be a war, Hofstra UMass, regardless of anybody's records or where the standings are or where it is in the season. It's a game that gets circled on the calendar, and it ought to be a great one.
How important is it to start out well in conference
Yeah,
play.
I mean, again, when you play a sport in a conference that only takes the top 4 teams or 4 out of 6, it becomes more important because you could be left out of the conference if you get going a little bit too late. So with that, if you can get 1 or 2 wins under your belt early, it's going to affect some games later on how you approach it. If you're 0-1 or 0-2 going into those last couple of games, then you end up gripping your sticks a little bit tighter. So again, this is a playoff game for us. We're going to obviously treat it as another game or the next game or the round 3 after our new beginning this past week. So it's another game. There's a little bit more weight to it, and our guys will be ready.
All right, that's this Saturday at 12 noon at James M. Stewart Stadium, Hofstra versus UMass in the Colonial Athletic Association opener. You've been watching the WB Mason Coaches Report with Seth Tierney. Thank you.